What if the biohack you've been searching for isn't a supplement and doesn't require more efforting, hustling, or a new productivity trick, but simply learning how to fully inhabit your body? In this episode, we explore the deeper meaning behind feminine embodiment and sensuality, two concepts often misunderstood as surface level ideas about sexuality or sexiness. In reality, these are incredibly powerful practices of self awareness, nervous system regulation, and personal transformation. The core myth that I challenge here is that your sense of aliveness, pleasure, or connection depends on a partner or external validation or the next optimization hack. In this episode, I break down how modern life has pulled many women into living from the neck up or overthinking, pushing through stress, denying how they feel, and becoming disconnected from their body's sensory intelligence. The result is burnout, is numbness to pleasure, and a muted experience of life. Through practices that include breath work, movement, meditation, and sensory awareness, this episode shows how reconnecting with the body can restore clarity, vitality, intuition, emotional resilience, and a more rich and full experience of life. Drawing on a blend of somatic awareness, nervous system regulation, and spiritual self inquiry, this episode outlines three progressive layers of embodiment, from calming the body and awakening the senses to sharpening the intuition, and ultimately entering a deeper inner journey that can lead to profound personal metamorphosis. The message here is that your sensual aliveness is not someone else's responsibility, but rather it is your privilege, and it is a relationship that you cultivate with yourself. Enjoy. The words feminine embodiment and sensuality, they sound kind of sexy and juicy and intriguing, but what do they really mean? There's sort of different levels to this practice of embodiment and sensuality. The first level is about settling into your body, doing movement practices and breath work, meditation, calming the nervous system. And then sensuality is, fundamentally about expanding your capacity to perceive and receive through your five senses, through touch and taste, etc. But there is also a deeper level, a second level. So what happens is as you get deeper into this work, through a heightened awareness and a calmer presence after doing the embodiment work, you come to develop your sixth sense, and that is the sense of intuition. So, this sixth sense becomes more perceptible as you continue in this work, and your body becomes more finely attuned. It becomes more like a finely tuned medium or a vector for connection to yourself and for connection to a partner, to others, and also to sensory pleasure. And then there's a third level. And the third level is really the deep dive. It's about turning inward. It's about really entering a personal spiritual quest. The point at which you take this deep dive into your personal interiority as a woman, and you enter a space of self-inquiry and self-interest. Honestly, if you reach this stage, it's usually because, well, it's precipitated by a significant life transition generally, because the depth of this space requires an opening, like a liminal space or a void space in which to enter. It involves a refocus of your energies onto yourself. So away from all of the exterior goings on, away from other people, your kids or your partner or whatever is going on in the world, and a refocus of those energies into yourself. Eventually, if you are brave enough to go into the depths of this third level, as I call it, it holds the promise of metamorphosis and arriving home to yourself. It involves fully inhabiting this hotel of the body, this temporary residence of the soul. It involves welcoming all aspects of you. That means your emotions and your feelings and all sensations into the game, even the parts of you and especially the parts of you that have been in shadow. These parts of you hold tremendous gifts. And when you welcome all these parts of you in and you commit to developing a relationship with yourself and with your body, this leads to wholeness, and wholeness as distinct from perfection. Wholeness and acceptance of you as all of you and a full expression of yourself. Sensuality and feminine embodiment, they involve a process, a really like a life process. Once you engage in the first level, there's an opportunity for a life process of coming into coherence and coming into harmony with yourself. It involves centering in yourself. As I mentioned, refocus of your energies is centering in yourself. And this is a personal endeavor. This doesn't involve anyone else necessarily at all. It's about finding a level of comfort in your body, in yourself, feeling at home in yourself, maybe for the first time. It has a foundation of calm. I mean, necessarily, the prerequisite is being able to find calm of the mind and the nervous system. So that's a foundational first level aspect of embodiment. And then it also involves fortifying yourself from within so that, you become well equipped to handle external stressors, anxiety, etc. And it leads to an enjoyment, a richer experience of life. This is, as I said, a real process. It's a process of self-discovery, of self-exploration. It asks for your commitment, and it involves an ushering back home these aspects of yourself, of your subconscious in particular, that may have been cast aside over the course of your life because of being sort of unacceptable. It involves integrating those parts of you and their gifts back into your life for a richer experience of wholeness. So, here are a few just general methods of embodiment and sensuality. As I mentioned, I think that embodiment certainly requires some nervous system calming techniques, including breath work, movement, guided visualizations, yoga, other movements as well. And these will allow you to feel more at home in your body, certainly, to come into a calm in your mind and find freedom in your mind so that your mind isn't racing around so much, that you have a little bit more centeredness in the mind. It also will afford you some energetic radiance, some vitality, some, as I say, fortification against the stressors of life. When we're not embodied, that can look like moving through life just kind of from the neck up, feeling disconnected from the neck down. And so that's basically when we're in the state of overthinking of the cerebral and the intellectual experience of life, but not the sensory. So, really not engaging all of our senses, maybe even being kind of unaware of ourselves as sensual beings, maybe feeling numb or feeling particularly numb to pleasure, but also to the full experience of life. So, it can feel a little bit grayscale, a little bit flat when we're not embodied. There's a feeling that I think a lot of us can relate to, and that is burnout. That we're just getting through the hustle of the day, that we're just maybe even just in a bit of a survival mode feeling. I think there's a sense that there's not a lot of joy or enjoyment, joie de vivre. That's what's missing. There is this element, this feeling of something that's missing, and an ache for that which we long for. There can be a lot of tension stored in the body, clenching of the jaw and other places. Your body can feel like a foreign object or even like a stranger to you. One of the hardest questions for women to answer truly is what they actually desire. And when we're not embodied, that is a very difficult question to answer. You'd be surprised. So when we can't name our desires, we can't claim them and we can't prioritize them. When we don't know what delights us and lights us up, we can't get there. So what we do in embodiment and sensuality practices are we become curious about what our desires are. We become curious and we explore our senses and we arrive at a rich experience. We come to a place where the rich potential to perceive and to receive information from the senses is available to us. And our intuition is sharper and we feel more aliveness. We are enlivened. We feel more vital. We find an enjoyment within ourselves and with a partner if we have one. But of course, even without a partner, we can emerge from these worn out patterns that we've sort of just been moving through life in these patterns and they've become ruts and we feel stuck and we can emerge from that. We discover greater depths of experience in this life that are available to us in these female bodies and it's really something to celebrate. So if you find that you blame your partner or a lack of partner for dimmed sensation or for grayscale kind of level of aliveness, if you don't feel turned on, well, I would like to offer you that your turn on and your connection to the sensory pleasure of your body, to the vitality of your senses is actually your responsibility and it's your privilege to care for, to honor, to claim and to reignite or ignite for the first time this sense of vitality within you and your body. Your body is yours to explore and to develop a sensual relationship with. It doesn't require anyone else. Embodiment and sensuality practices are deeply personal explorations and such an opportunity for women. They are for you to expand your connection to your body, your mind, and your energy or your soul. They are for you to develop a deeper relationship to your sensuality, and that will certainly improve any partnership you may be in and improve your capacity for pleasure and enable you to speak what you desire and what you love and how you are turned on and strengthen your connection to a partner. But first and foremost, the focus here is developing your personal relationship with yourself. This is for you as a woman. It involves presence and awareness and certainly curiosity and an openness to explore. When you cultivate your sensuality, because this is potentially a lifelong practice and a way of being, you broaden your perception of all of your senses, of your feelings. All emotions are accepted here, and all parts of you are accepted here. And so you learn to inhabit your body more fully. And you can take everything that is an aspect of you into that. Everything is incorporated and integrated into that and accepted into that. You allow a flow of coherence between your body, your mind, and your energy. And as I said, you're certainly more clearly able to name and claim your desires, which for some reason, as women, is the most difficult place to start, but it's an important place to start. Through these practices, you also have a greater capacity to move through pain and challenge. You build more resilience to meet the challenges and stressors of life and to be fortified against those difficult times. The other thing is that you begin to feel worthy to delight and pleasure, to live with a little bit less striving and hustle, and set aside time for your delight and for your pleasure and what brings you joy. So, again, you don't need to wait for a partner to arrive or for your partner to try to figure out your body and what delights you. This is all about you, darling. And this is your time, your opportunity. I'm offering you an invitation to commit to yourself. I'm offering you an invitation to step into or begin to develop an intimate, lifelong relationship with you. I'm inviting you to develop a lifelong intimate relationship with yourself and with your constant companions. It's your body, your mind, and your energy and your soul. To me, these processes, they're like the ultimate biohacks for women. They don't require any exogenous supplements or anything outside of you. It's all about gathering your energies back within yourself. It's not another task to add to your hustle or your schedule. This is a way of being that delivers you home to yourself. And there's really, in my mind, no greater gift you can give yourself than beginning to center in yourself, return to your body, discover your pleasure, light up your senses, find more joy, enlivenment, joie de vivre. I love that term. Embodiment and sensuality practices are the way to a deeper, truer connection with yourself, a way to find your zest for life and a sense of wholeness. They're a way to discover who you truly are as a sovereign being and find that sovereignty within yourself. The call inwards for women is navigated by the ache that we feel that something is missing. And if we heed that call and we commit to ourselves in this way, these practices hold the promise of genuine metamorphosis, and they hold the promise of a realization of who you are and what you're truly capable of. In the next episode, I will give you ways that you can begin to practice feminine embodiment and sensuality that will enliven your life and get you on the path of this work and this process. And I'll see you there.